In this video, I want to focus on the laboratory resources and then also how to submit a laboratory assignment. Okay, so on our Moodle page, we'll just scroll down and look at a few things. As we go down, we've seen in other videos, or will. There's our link for all the lecture videos. Calendar. And I'll be adding I'm going to have the due dates for these experiments on that Friday. Okay. And, if you get them in a few days late, it's not a big deal. If you get them in like 2 weeks late, let's say a week late or more, then I'll have to start deducting some points. The calendar here is really like a best scenario. Okay. You do this work through the week, turn in the labs on that Friday, and then take the test over the weekend. Okay. Lab material. Okay, we're down here in section 5, laboratory resources. Right now there's only 2 things here because it's first of the semester. The measurements lab's the only one that we're working with. Let's click on this first link where we actually see the resources. We got the experiment 1 measurements, and we have 2 different things, data and then the notes from introductory video. Okay, that's a PDF here, and that's a PDF. We click on the data part, it takes you to a shared document in a Google Drive folder of mine. And what you'll see here are the different parts to the laboratories, basically the data information for you. Okay. Each of the blue lines there hyperlinks to YouTube videos that I've recorded specifically for this lab. For the most part, there's probably in the future there'll be some mix and matching, but most of this is just original material. Okay, so it's focused in on just our laboratory experiments. And this data sheet, and there's going to be 1 per experiment, right? Experiment 1, and that's the only thing that's here. Okay, if we scroll down, it's only like 3 or 4 pages. They're large images, so it's going to be spread out over a lot of different pages, okay? And what you'll do is you'll use this to fill in the report sheet. And then once that data is generated, and then you'll be answering questions, doing calculations, whatever the report sheet is asking for, okay? Now, the description of the lab and of the report sheet is in this video here, okay? So I'm planning on having 1 introductory video for each of the labs, and if you click on that, it'll take you to a YouTube video, and it'll walk you through the laboratory and talk about, well, you collect this data here, you do this with that data, that kind of thing. Okay, and I recommend that you watch this video before doing the lab. All right. Also, like for example, for this first experiment, you really should watch the lecture videos before you do this lab. And that's, in my opinion, there's some exceptions here, but really, like if you go back and look at the calendar, I've tried the best I can at separating the individual labs with the different chapters. Okay, now don't think of it as experiment 2 is specifically for chapter 3 and experiment 3 specifically for chapter 4. Think of it this way, okay? Whatever chapters we're doing for that week, those chapters are relevant to the labs that we're doing that week. So my recommendation is to watch these videos first before doing these labs. I mean, you can look at the labs, see what they're asking for, and you may actually be able to pick apart a few things and know how to do it without watching many of these videos. But the best scenario, watch these videos first and then do the labs. And remember, right, for each week here, there's also mastering chemistry assignments. Okay, so time management is key to success here. Okay, let's go back to the PDF here. Okay. So it's a mix of videos and images for each part. And I've broke it up into this way because it's just you're doing little chunks at a time, all right? Having a single large video showing the data for all of the lab, especially this one, it's just cumbersome. It's clunky, okay? It's much cleaner doing it this way. And then other parts, you'll have images. Like for example, in part A6 of this lab, you're asked to measure the length of a piece of paper. You can do that at home if you have a meter stick of some form. If you don't, I've put a photo in here, okay? So you can approximate the length of the piece of paper from the photo. And notice, and I'll do this occasionally, I'm just giving you the data for the other part. So just say 11 inches for the length of the piece of paper in inches. If you look at the report sheet, you'll see where this data and that data go. And then also, if you've watched that video, which you should, then you'll better see what I'm talking about. Actually point out these two data values and talk about actually how to use them in this in this introductory video. Okay. For each one of these, again, for each section, a couple of visuals just to get an idea of what's going on. And then for the volume measurements, if I think there's any kind of clarity issue between where the meniscus is and where the lines are, I'm going to highlight them for you. Okay. Some of them may be images like you see here. And in other examples like this video for the density of water, what you'll need to do is actually pause the video and then record the volume. Actually, you also need to pause the video for this one and that one here to then record the mass of the measurement. And the mass is just going to be a digital readout on a scale. It's going to look, there we go. It'll just look something like that. And you'll pause it on that frame in each of these individual videos here and then record that mass value in your lab notebook. And then once you have the data recorded, then like on these bottom ones in part E, you'll be asked to calculate the density. How do you do that? I'm not going to talk about it here. I've talked about it in other places. Where have I talked about it? I've talked about it in the, I can't remember the exact section, maybe section 2.9, I believe. It's titled Density in the lecture videos themselves. And as it turns out, in this introductory video, I have also talked about density, at least briefly. I didn't do a full example of the density calculation, but at least broke down basic parts of it. Again, my recommendation, strongly recommend that you watch the videos for Chapter 2 and this introductory video before attempting the lab. And I think it'll just go much more smoothly, and on it, you'll probably get more out of it as well. Okay. And then down here, you're using these images to measure in this case, the height or the distance of the cylinder and then the diameter of the cylinder. Now, in this introductory video, when you watch it, you'll see that I've written on, just an electronic Word file of the lab. And then what I've done is that's where these notes are. Let's click on the notes. This is just a PDF, no links here, no hyperlinks within the PDF. And these are the notes from that introductory video. So you can sort of follow along with your material, and then you can take a look at this document for anything you might have missed. And notice this is the length of the piece of paper, and I talk about the calculations that you work through with this particular part of the report sheet. And then again, I made these little checks as I was talking about the different components in the introductory video. And then here, this is where I spoke a little bit more, described a little bit more what's going on in this experiment, and then how to use the data in the that previous PDF that we were just looking at. And then finally, I talk about this in the introductory video. This last part, if you complete this, I'll give you a plus 10% bonus for this particular lab. This basically is the same type of questions as you see for the Mastering Chemistry. Okay, so these last 2 pages are optional. When you're finished, right, you have a hard copy of this lab manual. You should have purchased it from the bookstore. It's like less than $5 if I'm remembering correctly. You'll fill in these report sheets here, and then you're going to submit it through Moodle. Let's take a look at that. Okay, it's not there. It's right here. So it's in that same section. I'm back on the Moodle page for us. This is the link that I just clicked on a second ago, and then big bold title below this. These are the links you're going to use to upload your completed report sheet. Let's go ahead and click on one of these and just sort of walk through the process. Okay, so you get one attempt, no big deal. You're just uploading the document. If for some reason your first attempt doesn't fail and it locks you out, let me know. No big deal. I can go back in here and fix it. You would click add submission. And then what you can do is that you can drag and drop the file here if you want to. And I'll talk about file types in just a minute. Or like the way I use my browser window, etc., I always upload a file. So this first link here, this first button, allows you to upload individual files. And then you just, choose file and then go in and click and, grab whatever you need to get, okay? And then you hit upload this file down here. Two different file types that are appropriate here. A PDF, if you have a scanner at home, or if you have an app on your phone and you can convert your written copy into a PDF, that is the preferred way, the preferred file format that you would upload here. The other option, honestly, you can just take good photos of your individual report sheets and you should be able to upload individual images here. If you look on this first page, it tells you can upload as many as 20 files. And so you should just be able to click and add as many pages as you need, as many images as you need. One image per page would be appreciative. And that's it. Thanks.